Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to do questions and answers. And I got a lovely question from Stephen, and I am addressing it to you. Stephen's questions are, since there are no time bounds in the afterlife, are our souls in heaven as well as on earth during our mortal lifespan? And do our souls reincarnate in our sequential time order, or do we jump around? This is interesting. So thank you, Stephen, for the question. I love it. But we can come back and forth visiting your loved ones. I want to make that clear. This is why it's so important to go into the light, because once you're in the light, you have carte blanche to come back and forth. You meet with God, you do your business up there, but God does let you come visit your loved ones, see what's going on. This is very, very important. Your soul just kind of extracts everywhere. When we pass, our soul is infinity. It's very much alive. That's why I never use the word, oh, she's dead. There's no such word. The body is a shell. I say this a lot. And when the soul extracts from the body, from the physical realm, it's just going back to its creator, which is God. Think about that. That's why it's so important for you to go into the light. So can you come back and forth and visit relatives, loved ones? Absolutely. God has no hold on your soul. Yes, you go to the other side. You meet with God for various different things and what you've done on this world and this earth, this lifetime. But God doesn't have a restriction. If you want to come and visit, you can. So you do. Now, do we jump around? When we decide to reincarnate, that's between us and God. If God says we have to do it again, we do. But we can choose when we want to reincarnate. So, a lot of times people say, Susan, I always thought my son, is my father. When my father died, I gave birth to my son, and he looks like my father, he acts like my father. And I say, well, he's not your father. Well, how do you know? Because I'm making contact with your father. I'm talking to your father's spirit. Now, if your father was in a physical body again and reincarnated, I wouldn't be able to talk to your father. Now, would I? And she's looking at me and she goes, oh, you're right. I go, so no, your son just really took after your father in a beautiful way, which is a beautiful tribute. But he is not your father. All right. So there's your answer to that. And I find that really interesting. But once you reincarnate, you are in another body, starting a new life. So you can't be jumping out. The soul doesn't jump out that way. It doesn't work that way. All right. So that I thought was a really good question. Do our spirit guides guide more than one person at a time, or do multiple things at once? Love that question. Stephen, you're on a roll. These are good questions. Well, here's the thing I want to say about spirit guides. Spirit guides can be your family, could be your loved one, could be a good friend. You're going to say, really? Yeah. Even our dogs become spirit guides. You're going to say, now, come on, that's ridiculous. No. When we've had a pet that has passed, sometimes our pet will send the next pet to us. You're going to say, really? Yeah. It's very interesting. But when that pet passes, it will show us, or sometimes the pet may want 6 months to a year to rest and come back and will find you again. You're going to say, seriously? Yeah, very, very much so. So I do believe that pets have souls and they can reincarnate just as well. Now let's go to the human factor of that. We have our spirit guides that can be family, that could be friends. Do they guide us? I always say angels protect, spirit guides direct. So yes, spirit guides do direct us, put us where we need to be, put a person in front of us, maybe put lost items, and all of a sudden now we found them. Oh God, yes, very, very much so. They're actively doing their work. And then there's what I call incorporeal beings, where these are spirit guides that will come in a pinch to help you with something extraordinary, like the Blessed Mother, Jesus, Moses, Joan of Arc, Archangel Michael. You're going to say, seriously? Yeah. They will come and help us with something at that moment. And then when it's done, they go. They go on to the next. So you have spirit guides that pretty much stay with you, that want to be with you, and then you will have incorporeal beings. Now, can you have famous people? Yes. I have had so many famous personalities come visit me throughout my life, and it's very interesting. I will see them. They'll perform for me, and you're going to say, seriously? Yep, they're better than going to a concert and spending money, because I have seen every aspect of so many. And they'll come for various reasons. Maybe with me, I'll just use myself as an example. They will come so they can tell their story to me. And they'll come and they'll talk to me, and I'll talk to them just like I'm talking to you right now, or I'm talking to a friend or a client or my husband or my daughter. I will do that. It's very, very interesting. So you're going to say, really? Yeah. If they have something to say, they're going to want to come through and they're going to want to say it. Do they know who to come to? The answer is yes. Now you're going to say, why? Some people's energy is much more freer. They can get through. The blockers aren't there. I've always said that. When you have anxiety, you're too high strung, you're creating blockers, spirit can't come through. As soon as that comes down, boom, they're through. It's very, very true. So I do say that a lot. It's not that they don't want to come to certain people. It's just that they can pick and choose how much easier their spirit can connect to yours. It's very, very interesting. So I love all these questions about the spirit and reincarnation. But, can your spirit jump around? It can when you have not reincarnated. I want to make that clear. And you can decide if you have to reincarnate, when you want to do it. I always say that when spirit is up there, they need time. Some want to reincarnate really quick and they have an agenda. And then others, they need time. You know why? Because they have tired souls and they want to work on things that maybe they didn't do well here on earth. And they need that time. That's why I say God gets a bad rap. God is very freeing and very loving. God will give us as much time as we need to get it right. So, Stephen, I hope that this has addressed these questions that you've had, because I think they were all three good ones. They kind of all formed in the same way. But the afterlife is quite mystical, but it's also quite beautiful and powerful. But I always tell people, when it is your time, please go into that light. That is the best advice I could give anybody. Don't miss your window of your light. Don't ever be afraid of your light, because that light will help you get back home, which I call a home going, back to your Creator, back to God. And that's the way it works. Okay? Hope this has enlightened you. I hope this has given you, not food for thought, but more like answers, and you can rest a little better. You have now more of an idea of what this is really all about, because so many people are so scared that when they die and they're afraid. And the best thing that I could say is never be afraid, because you're going back home to God. Remember the light, because that's what gets you there. Until then, keep the questions coming. Subscribe to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and more will come. All right? Have a blessed week. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.